Ram said, I wish to hear from you once again the truth concerning karma, or what is known as the divine will, or fate. Karma and divine will, or fate, represent those ideas which we feel bind us. They are restrictions or limitations on our options. Perhaps Ram's question is about free will. This is quite an important question for some of us. We get quite uppity if we're told that we don't actually have any free will, that we're basically automata, machines. We like to think we're in charge. Vasishta replied, divine will, or fate, and the word here is daivam, and karma are but concepts. The truth is they are movements in consciousness, as are all concepts. Basically what Vasishta seems to be saying here is that they're simply notions. They're notions which, depending on your cultural exposure, they're notions which you might either feel reflect reality or not. You might actually consider them to be real and think of reality in terms of fate, divine will, or karma. So they're concepts, they're notions. When there is such movement, the world appearance arises. When the movement ceases, the world appearance also ceases. So here's a concrete example. If you think in terms of karma, then this is your reality. Your reality is in terms of actions and consequences. If you think in terms of divine will or fate, then this sets a tone for your reality. It colours your reality. It creates it. If you get rid of such notions, then what are you left with? People don't like to let go of these notions, do they? Because they feel it's extremely important to make sense of things. So you have to have your guiding notions. But these are what they are. They're guiding notions which create your reality. There is not the least distinction between the movement and consciousness. So it's all part of consciousness. It's consciousness doing its thing. It's consciousness turning in on itself, and in doing so forgetting itself. It's getting caught up in its notions, forgetting its real nature. There is not the least distinction between a person and his karma, action. Karma is action. A creature is known by its characteristic action, and such action reveals the character of the creature. They are inseparable. So we've got a slight shift here. We could say we're characterised by our notions. This is a broader issue, I think, though. If you consider what's the difference between a cat and a dog, or what's the difference between cats and dogs, they've got a lot of similarities. They're both pets. They've got 4 legs. They've usually got a tail. They've got sharp teeth. They've got whiskers. They've got fur. So they've got a lot in common, but they're clearly different. We've all got a very clear understanding of the difference between cats and dogs. Dogs exhibit certain behaviours, and so do cats, but they're different behaviours. Cats purr. They move their body in different ways. Cats don't like to be trained. We could probably make a pretty exhaustive list of the characteristics of dogs and the characteristics of cats. And so we can say this animal is exhibiting doggy behaviour by making reference to our list, and we can say this animal is exhibiting catty behaviour and then point it out in our list. So we can sum up the characteristics. It's probably not that big a list. If you did it with human beings, it would probably be a bit more complicated. But we could have a set of human characteristics. And this is what it's saying: there's not the least distinction between a person and his action, what a person does. These are our human characteristics. So as human beings, this is what differentiates us from other creatures, is our ability not only to conceptualise, but to identify with these concepts. And one of the most characteristic concepts we've got is God, or fate, destiny. We've also got the concept of individuality and the concept of being a doer. Hence the words or concepts divine, daiva, action, karma, and person, nara, are but expressions which denote movement in consciousness. So the word nara is used here instead of jiva, the usual word jiva. I wonder why. Well, it's always worth checking these things out. According to George Feuerstein, in his encyclopedic dictionary of yoga, which is of immense use, naraka means pertaining to the human. It stands for hell. Hell. So that's curious, isn't it? The word for pertaining to human means hell. I don't think that needs much more comment. But here all these things are being described as concepts. And it's like what we do in a dream. Whatever factors appear in a dream, whether I meet the Buddha, whether I have an erotic experience, whether I'm being chased by Godzilla, whether I'm in a classroom, all these things we say are part of the dream. They are non-different from the dream. In fact, they don't have any real individual identity. All the things that arise in a dream are dream elements. Everything that arises in this reality is a concept. All our most fundamental understandings about this reality are no more than notions, no more than concepts which we imbue with some kind of external objective reality.